Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really interesting corner of the hobby world, competitive radio-controlled car racing.
Yeah, it's a place where, some seemingly small things become absolute legends.
Exactly. And we're talking about how tiny items, little consumables really, can become genuine icons, indispensable even.
You bet.
For, gosh, decades now, three specific products from Team Associated's Factory Team line have been just that. I'm talking about Factory Team Green Slime,
It's
Black Grease, and Stealth Diff Lube.
the holy trinity for many racers.
Right. They aren't just, stuff you use for maintenance. They're actually fundamental if you want to build a competitive car.
They really are.
So our mission today is to unpack what each one does, maybe touch on their properties, how to use them right, and also explore this interesting shift in their packaging. They used to be in tubes. Now they're in these little pots. Why did that happen, and what does it actually mean for you, the racer?
And it's crucial, I think, to see them not just individually, but sort of why they work together. It's a system.
A system,
A cohesive lubrication system. It's really designed for the high-stress world inside a racing chassis.
Right, like for shocks and diffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Getting things like ball differentials and those oil-filled shocks assembled correctly and working consistently. It totally depends on using these specific lubes in the right way together.
Okay, so knowing why they matter as a group is key. Let's get into the specifics then. Maybe start with the most famous one, green slime.
Green slime, yeah. Instantly recognizable.
It's basically your shock seal's best friend, isn't it?
Absolutely. Its main job is creating that perfect low-friction seal right between the shock's O-rings and the shock shaft itself.
Which is vital because you don't want your shock fluid leaking out. That messes up handling completely.
Totally. And it also cuts down on stiction.
Ah, stiction, that initial resistance, right, makes the suspension feel sticky or kind of jumpy.
Precisely. Green slime helps smooth that out. Its consistency is really engineered for this. It's tacky enough to stay put on the O-ring, but it's fluid enough that it doesn't actually impede the shaft's movement.
And it doesn't make the O-ring swell up. I've heard that can be an issue.
Good point. Yeah, that's another key property. It seems to be formulated so it won't react badly with the rubber O-rings over time. Some petroleum greases can degrade them.
So it helps the shocks last longer and stay consistent?
Exactly. You just put a good dab on the O-rings and spacers before you assemble the shock. Simple as that.
Okay, got it. So next up, black grease.
Right. Factory Team Black Grease. This is the high-pressure specialist, the workhorse, really.
Workhorse. Okay, so where does this one go?
Think high load, metal on metal. Its most critical application is definitely the thrust washer and thrust bearing assembly in a ball diff.
Right, those tiny parts that take all the clamping force holding the diff together.
Exactly. Massive axial load there. If you don't lubricate that properly with black grease, your diff won't feel smooth. And honestly, the parts can just wear out or fail really quickly under pressure.
So its consistency must be pretty different from green slime.
Oh, completely different. Much thicker, much tackier. It often feels like it has solid lubricants in it. Maybe molybdenum disulfide, maybe graphite. Tiny particles that can handle extreme pressure.
I see. And can you use it elsewhere?
Yeah, it's versatile. People use it on CVA joints, sometimes metal gears. But there's a huge warning here.
Okay.
You absolutely do not use black grease on the main differential balls, the big ones that the diff action relies on.
Ah, right, because that's where the third one comes in.
Exactly. That's the job for Stealth Diff Lube.
Stealth Diff Lube, named after the Stealth transmission, I assume. That was a huge deal back in the day.
It really was. Revolutionized off-road RC with that super smooth gearbox. And this lube was developed specifically for that system.
So its only job is lubricating the main diff balls and the plates they run on.
Pretty much its sole purpose, yeah. It's described as a very special silicone-based diff lube. It's all about extremely low friction and consistency, giving you that clean, smooth, predictable slip action you need from a perfectly built ball diff.
Okay, so it lets the diff slip smoothly while the black grease handles the clamping pressure.
You got it.
Yeah.
And the nuance is that Stealth Lube is really optimized for off-road ball diffs, where you often want a slightly looser feel compared to, say, on-road.
Ah, interesting.
And this really shows how they function as that integrated system we talked about. They were engineered together. If you try to swap in some generic grease for either the black grease or the Stealth Lube,
you'll mess up the whole balance of the differential.
Completely. It impacts consistency, predictability, and yeah, ultimately your lap times. It's that synergy.
Synergy. Okay. And speaking of details and precision, that brings us to the packaging. This is interesting. They used to be in tubes.
For years, yeah. Little squeeze tubes.
Which seems convenient, maybe? Direct application?
You'd think so, but most experienced racers didn't really use them that way. They'd squeeze a blob onto some cardboard or a pit mat.
And then use a tool like a small Allen wrench or a dedicated applicator to put it exactly where it needed to go.
Right. Plus, those tubes could get brittle, crack, leak. It was kind of wasteful sometimes.
So the switch to the little screw-top pots, the 4cc ones they use now, that was actually a big deal.
Oh, definitely a game changer for the serious racer. It wasn't just about looks.
How so?
Well, the pot is just functionally better for meticulous work. You can dip a clean tool right in, get the exact tiny amount you need for, say, one O-ring, or just touching up the diff balls. Much less waste, much more control.
So it was driven by what racers actually needed, precision.
Absolutely. That precision and control, the racer's mandate you could call it, was key. Plus, probably manufacturing efficiencies, and the pots likely keep the product fresher, better sealed. The pot format just made sense. It was sort of inevitable.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. Green slime. Perfect shock seals, low friction, no leaks. Black grease handles the heavy lifting, the high pressure loads, especially in the diff thrust bearing.
Right. Metal on metal workhorse.
And Stealth Diff Lube. That super smooth, consistent action specifically for the main balls in an off-road diff.
The magic touch for the diff action itself.
And in RC racing, where races are won or lost by tiny fractions of a second,
every detail matters.
this level of attention to fundamental stuff, like getting your lubrication just right, it's absolutely paramount.
Couldn't agree more. Preparation is key.
What I find really fascinating here, though, is how something as seemingly minor as the container for a lubricant can actually tell you so much about understanding what the users really need and that constant drive for better performance. It wasn't just change for change's sake.
No, it was functional evolution, driven by the demands of the most meticulous users.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday products out there have this kind of hidden history, an evolution shaped entirely by the people who demand the absolute most from them?
That's a great thought to end on. There are probably more examples than we realize.